On the calm Sunday morning of December 7, 1941, the United States naval base at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii was just beginning to stir awake. Sailors were stretching on decks, the mess halls were serving breakfast, and for most, it felt like any other peaceful day in paradise. But that peace would be shattered in mere moments by one of the most devastating surprise attacks in history, a day that would not only plunge America into World War II, but also alter the course of global history forever. Before we dive deep into the events of that fateful day, how the Japanese planned the strike, how it unfolded, and the unimaginable consequences it triggered, make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a journey through history that reveals the true stories behind the headlines. Tensions brewing. Why did Japan attack? To understand why Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, we have to go back years before that fatal December morning. In the 1930s, Japan was aggressively expanding its empire across Asia, driven by the need for natural resources and a desire to become the dominant power in the Pacific. It had already invaded Manchuria in 1931 and launched a full-scale war against China in 1937. These actions alarmed Western powers, particularly the United States, which had significant economic and political interests in the region. As Japan's aggression escalated, the US responded with economic sanctions, cutting off critical exports such as oil, rubber, and steel, materials vital to Japan's military machine. These embargoes placed Japan in a corner. To continue expanding, it needed to break free from these restrictions. A master plan in the shadows. The Japanese didn't approach this decision lightly. Under the command of Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, a meticulously detailed attack plan was drawn up. Yamamoto himself had studied in the United States and understood the industrial might of the American war machine. He knew Japan could not win a prolonged conflict, so the only hope was to deliver a sudden, paralyzing blow to the US Navy in the Pacific, hitting hard and fast at Pearl Harbor to delay American retaliation. The plan was brilliant in its secrecy and coordination. Over 350 aircraft would be launched from 6 aircraft carriers sailing stealthily across the Pacific. Their target? The US Pacific Fleet docked at Pearl Harbor, along with nearby airfields that could launch defensive aircraft. The hope was that a devastating first strike would demoralize America and force it into negotiation rather than all-out war. The calm before the storm. In the early hours of December 7, 1941, Hawaii lay blanketed under blue skies and warm sunlight. On Oahu Island, soldiers, sailors, and civilians alike were enjoying a typical Sunday. Many officers had been on leave the night before, ships in the harbor were moored in neat lines, and radar stations had only recently been installed. Everything seemed routine, but hundreds of miles away, a Japanese strike force was cutting through the ocean, approaching undetected. Earlier that morning, an American radar station on Oahu actually picked up an incoming flight of aircraft, but the warning was dismissed. It was assumed to be a scheduled arrival of US bombers from the mainland. That tragic misjudgment would cost dearly. The attack begins. Hell from the skies. At exactly 7:55 a.m., the first wave of Japanese aircraft roared into the skies over Pearl Harbor. The sound of sirens and explosions shattered the island's calm. Dive bombers, torpedo planes, and fighters unleashed a relentless assault on battleships, cruisers, and airfields. The USS Arizona was struck by an armor-piercing bomb that detonated in its forward ammunition magazine, resulting in a cataclysmic explosion that killed over 1,100 sailors in seconds. Flames shot skyward as steel bent and ships capsized. The USS Oklahoma rolled onto its side, trapping hundreds of men inside. On the airfields, planes were destroyed before they could even take off, and hangars were reduced to rubble. In 2 furious waves that lasted less than 2 hours, the Japanese had unleashed unimaginable destruction. Over 20,400 Americans were killed, more than 1,100 were wounded, and 21 ships were either sunk or damaged, along with over 300 aircraft. The human cost. Stories of heroism. Amid horror, amidst the chaos, countless acts of heroism unfolded. Sailors dove into oily burning water to rescue comrades. Medics worked frantically in makeshift hospitals, treating the wounded with limited supplies. Ensign Joe Taussig Jr., despite having his leg blown off, continued commanding anti-aircraft guns. Chief Boatswain Edwin Hill led men across the flaming deck of the USS Nevada, only to be killed while trying to release the ship from its moorings. These were just a few of the countless brave men and women who faced overwhelming odds with courage. The attack, while devastating, also revealed the unbreakable spirit of those caught in its crosshairs. Aftermath and shock across the nation. News of the attack raced across the continental United States and around the world. Americans were stunned. Just the day before, many still clung to the hope of neutrality. The next day, President Franklin D. Roosevelt addressed Congress in a speech that would go down in history, calling December 7th a date which will live in infamy. With overwhelming support, Congress declared war on Japan, but Japan had underestimated America. Rather than break American resolve, the attack galvanized it. Millions of young men volunteered for service, and factories across the nation began churning out tanks, ships, and aircraft. The United States was now in the war, its industrial might and morale fully awakened. Japan's strategic miscalculation. While the attack was a tactical success, strategically it failed. Japan had hoped to destroy the U.S. Pacific Fleet's aircraft carriers, but none were at Pearl Harbor during the attack. They had been out on maneuvers. These ships, along with the undamaged fuel storage and repair facilities, would play a critical role in the Pacific War to come. Moreover, rather than discourage the United States, the attack united a previously divided nation. Japan had awakened a sleeping giant, and it would soon feel the weight of America's wrath in battles like Midway, Iwo Jima, and Okinawa. The broader war begins. The attack on Pearl Harbor didn't happen in isolation. Within days, Japan launched offensives across the Pacific, attacking the Philippines, Guam, Wake Island, Hong Kong, and British Malaya. The goal was clear: seize resource-rich territories before the Allies could respond. But the world was watching. Within days, Germany and Italy declared war on the United States, tying the Pacific and European conflicts into one global war. America was now fighting on two fronts, and the stage was set for the most destructive conflict in human history. Conclusion: from the ashes, a nation rises. The attack on Pearl Harbor was a moment of tragedy, but also a turning point. It transformed the United States from a hesitant observer into a relentless force for victory. It united a fractured nation and laid the groundwork for a new world order that would emerge after World War II. As we reflect on the events of December 7, 1941, we honor not just the lives lost, but the courage, resilience, and determination that rose from the ashes. The story of Pearl Harbor is not just one of destruction. It's a story of rebirth, resolve, and the unbreakable human spirit. If you found this journey through history enlightening, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you'll never miss another story that changed the world. Until next time, keep learning, stay curious, and remember the lessons of the past.